Herrick poetry. So long you did not sing or touch your lute. We knew 'twas flesh and blood, and that there sat mute. But when you were playing and your voice came in, 'twas no more you than heaven. Let but thy voice engender with string, an angel shall be born while thou dost sing. Play, Phoebus, on thy lute, and we will all sit mute by listening to thy lyre that sets all ears on fire. Hark, hark, the god does play, and he leads the way through heaven, the very spheres as men tune all to ears. Music, thy queen of heaven, care charming spiel, that striketh the stillness into hell, thou that tames tigers and fierce storms that rise with thy soul-melting lullabies, fall down, down, down from thy chiming spheres and chime our souls as thou enchantest our ears. So smooth, so sweet, so silvery is thy voice, as could they hear the damned would make no noise, but listen to thee walking in thy chamber, melding melodious words to lutes of ember. When I thy singing next shall hear, I'll wish I might tune all to ear, to drink in notes and numbers such as blessed souls can't hear too much. Then melted down there let me lie entranced, lost confusedly, and by thy musique struck and mute, die and be turned into a lute. I think I want to be turned into a lute at death. What do you think? We're reading the poetry of Robert Herrick from the Untuning of the Sky. Though we wish it would not get untuned, we would like it to remain tuned by staying on with the music of the spheres, to trace the gradual course of standardization of the poetic treatment of the music of the spheres. One might well start out with a rather bald appearance of the device of musical praise in Herrick. Musical allusions in general abound in Herperides, more particularly several epigrams of the type of "Upon a Gentlewoman with a Sweet Voice" may be cited here. I think I don't know if it's that poem it's from, but "Upon a Gentlewoman with a Sweet Voice. So long you did not sing or touch your lute. We knew 'twas flesh and blood that there sat mute. But when you're playing and your voice came in, 'twas no more you then, but a cherubin." Another written upon Julia's voice is even more direct. "Let but thy voice engender with the string, and angels will be born while thus thou dost sing." A peculiar property of this sort of praise is that it seems no more or less extravagant than extended towards some object, for whom the cosmological extravagances are less hyperbolic. Here is a canticle to Apollo, for example. "Play, Phoebus, on thy lute, and we will all sit mute by listening to thy lyre that sets all ears on fire. Hark, hark, the god does play, and as he leads the way through heaven, the very spheres as men turn all to ears." You think we could have neo-Renaissance, neo-classical, neo-Renaissance, neo-English, early English poetry? Like we could pick up where this left off. We could always revive the music of the spheres. "Music, thy queen of heaven, care charming spiel, that struck'st a stillness into hell, thou that tames tigers and fierce storms that rise with thy soul-melting lullabies." It's interesting how the music does supposed to tame like hell. It tames, music tames the mind, does it not? It tames hell. It tames thoughts, and it tames passions. And Why thy soul-melting lullabies fall down, down, down from those thy chiming spheres, and charm our souls as thou enchantest our ears. I thought that, like, didn't Krishna play the flute and then it was able to tame the thousand-headed snake or something? Or the two more little poems upon Julia's voice employ the soul-melting image that, with a subsequent transformation, that render a cosmological illusion unnecessary. So smooth, so sweet, so silvery is thy voice, as could they hear the damned would make no noise to listen to thee walking in thy chamber, melting melodies, melodious words to lutes of ember. And again, when I thy singing next shall hear, I'll wish I might turn all to ear, to drink in notes and numbers such as blessed souls can't hear too much. You can't really hear too much of the music of the spheres. Then melted down there, let me lie entranced, lost confusedly, and by thy musica, stricken mute, die and be turned into a lute. Do you think that a human being can just be turned into harmony? The whole interest of the both sonneteers and later writers employing a Neoplatonist soul instrument correspondence for devotional purposes would have been in representing the specific mechanics of the metamorphosis. That is merely stated here. But Herrick's use of all the musical paraphernalia, the instruments, the Orphean myths, and celestial singing itself is perhaps more than anything else directed towards augmenting the repertory of integral objects and events programmatically listed in the argument of his book. His muses' wild country wit, meaner minstrelsy he involved not only in the tone of conventional pastoral irony, but with respect to his concentration on the particular and the immediate, but fragments of classic myth and bits of musical lore come under the same guise as blossoms, birds, and bowers. His Julias, every part, his Devonshire maypoles, in agreeing with Professor Douglas Bush about this neo-pagan element in Herrick's writing, we shall be hard put to it to list the character of his gaze under either headings of subject or style alone. Nor shall this be considered a difficulty. We have seen thus far how music in general, both speculative and practical, fares very differently as a subject matter for poetry under the observations control of different styles. During the middle of the 17th century, the growth of the progeny of numbers knew of the, quote, tribe of Ben, the gradual reception of Augustan modes tended to enforce a separation of musical lore from musical practice. They continue to be associated only in that references to the former became standard ecomistic epitaphs applied to occasions of the latter to see myths of speculative music. Given any particular treatment outside of this complementary domain is quite rare. An interesting such case, however, is that of a poem by Ben Jonson himself, The Musical Strife, from the Underwoods, is set in a pastoral dialogue, thus permitting the musical content of the argument between the two pastoral antagonists to escape a reference to a world of actuality. At the heart of the debate there itself is a point of love, but it is carried on in terms of two conceptual sections of speculative music, the celestial and the affective. It is significant that they are somehow antithetical. Come, with our voices, let us worry and challenge all the spheres. till each of us be made a star, and all the world turn ears. At such a call, what beast or fowl of reason empty is? What tree or stone doth want a soul? What man but must lose his? Mix then your notes, that we may prove to stay the running floods, to make the mountain quarries move, and call the walking woods. What need of me? Do thou you but sing, sleep and the grave will wake. No tunes are sweet, now words have sting, but what those lips do make. They say the angels mark each deed, and exercise below, and out of inward pleasure feed on what they viewing know. Oh, sing not you then, lest the best of angels should be driven too far again at such a feast, mistaking earth for heaven. Nay, rather, both our souls be strayed to meet their high desire, so they in state of grace retained may wish us their choir. Throughout this poem, the lady's wish is to merge with her swain in an act of idealized love, while his is to admire. In the musical terms, these conflicting desires are figured forth in her injunction to her lover to join her in concerted singing, and in his insistence on the Orphean power of her voice. In the first stanza, the lady's invitation to war is not meant to refer to an internecine combat between the two, but the call in the second stanza means her voice, not the singing of both of them. He insists on this in the first stanza, and in the sixth counters her preceding celestial reference in a move that might be said to sum up the whole tradition of trivialization. Oh, that's horrible. Why did they trivialize it? With which we have been concerned thus far, for the young man and the effective power of music subdues the cosmological order of the lady singing and attracts angels as easily as dumb beast or stone. Such was the power of Dryden's Saint Cecilia. When drawn by the power of music personified, an angel heard and straight appeared, mistaking earth for heaven. We'll stop while we're still powered up with the dryden. And the musica mundana, we have empowered by the music of the spheres to read this book. By being empowered with the music of the spheres. We were reading mostly Robert Herrick poetry from the Untuning of the Sky. Do you think the music was too loud, or how do you become the music become great again? It's great. The music isn't loud, really. The music of the spheres. Why would it be loud? It's on another plane in a way. It's far away. We were reading the ideas of music in English poetry to find out where the music of the spheres is today.